Hello everyone, myself Mrs. Smita Kshatriya. I welcome you all to start with English subject today. Today we are going to understand a very beautiful poem Where the Mind is Without Fear, poet Rabindranath Tagore. Where the Mind is Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore is one of his vastly read and discussed poems. It was originally composed in Bengali, possibly in 1900, under the title Prarthana, which means prayer. Tagore himself translated the Bengali poem into English. This poem is from his Nobel Prize winning anthology Gitanjali, published by the Indian Society in London in 1912. Tagore was a poet, short story writer, song composer, playwright, essayist, educator, and a painter too. When this poem was written, India was under the British rule and the people of India were very eager to get freedom from the British rule. The poem is written in the form of a prayer to God the Almighty for a true freedom for his countrymen, and thus Tagore reveals his own concept of freedom throughout the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear. Read the poem first. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Now I am going to explain this poem line by line, coming to the first line, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. In the very first line, the poet Rabindranath Tagore is praying to God Almighty that his countrymen should be free. Now here he doesn't want only the country to be free, but he wants his countrymen to be free from fear. He wants them to be free from the fear of opposition or forced compulsion. He wishes that everybody in his country has his head held high in dignity, that they live with dignity. In other words, according to him, in a truly free country, every person should be fearless and should have a sense of self-dignity. Now below you can see the figure of speech for the line. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high is an alliteration. There's a repetition of sound W and H. In this second line, where knowledge is free, here Rabindranath Tagore dreams about the nation where knowledge would be free. According to him, education should not be restricted to upper class. Earlier, education was only imparted to the upper class children and not to the lower class. Therefore, here he says that it should not be restricted to the upper class children, but everybody should be allowed to acquire knowledge. Not only that, he says that children should learn freely from the nature and the world around them. He says focus should not be on memorizing. Children should not be forced to memorize. And this is typical Tagore's concept of education. Where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. In the next two lines, the poet emphasizes the unity of not only his countrymen but the entire world. He thinks that there should be no division among people based on their caste, creed, color, religion in societies and between countries in the world. In other words, prejudice and superstitions should not divide the people in groups and break their unity. The figure of speech for the line where the world has not been broken up into fragments is alliteration, repetition of sound W and B. Here you can also see that I have highlighted some sentences in blue color. These are the meanings of these sentences. Here, narrow domestic wall means division among people based on their caste, creed, color, religion in societies and between countries of the world. Now, the next line, where words come out from the depth of truth. In this fifth line, where the mind is without fear, in this poem, Tagore wants a nation where people are truthful. They should not be superficial and words should come out from the depth of their heart. Tagore wishes for a nation where the people are truthful and do not cheat each other. For this line, where words come out from the depth of truth, the figure of speech is alliteration, repetition of the sound W. Where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. In this line, Tagore wants everyone to work hard, make continuous efforts and struggle to reach their goals. He thinks here that everybody here should not feel tired of working. People should not be lazy and they should not ignore their work. The figure of speech for this line, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, one figure of speech is alliteration, repetition of the sound T and S. Another figure of speech here is personification. Here, tireless striving has been given the human quality of stretching its arms. You can also see the meaning of tireless striving stretches its arm means to work hard, make continuous efforts and struggle to reach their goals. Arms here means to reach their goals. Okay, moving to the next two lines. Where the clear streams of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habits. Here, he says that the logical reasoning of people must be clear like a stream and it should not lose its way in the desert's dead habit. Here, dead habits means superstitious belief. Tagore wants people to be rational thinkers and logical and not superstitious and get lost in the desert. That is, desert here means baseless traditions and customs which are harmful to the mankind. Let us see the figure of speech. Where the clear stream of reasoning has not lost its way. The figure of speech here is metaphor. Stream of reason. Here the poet has indirectly compared reason to a clear stream. The next line, into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Figure of speech is alliteration, repetition of sound D. Another figure of speech is there for the same line, personification. Here habit has been given the quality of death, that is a living being. One more figure of speech for the same line is the metaphor, sand of dead habits. Here the poet is indirectly comparing habit to the bareness in a sandy desert. Where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action. In these lines, the poet wishes his countrymen to be progressive and have a broad-minded outlook. He wants that their minds are led forward to ever-widening thought and action by the Almighty. Thee here means Almighty, that means God. In short, we should be open-minded and do something unusual or extraordinary, overcoming the narrowness of our mind. Into the heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. In this last line, the poet Rabindranath Tagore addresses the God as Father. He asks the God to awaken his country and his countrymen into such a heaven of freedom where the above conditions of total freedom of not only the country from the British people but also, he says, total freedom here means the freedom of the country as well as of good thoughts, good words and good deeds are met. The figure of speech for the line, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. The figure of speech is synecdoche. Country stands for the people of the country. Now, synecdoche is a figure of speech where a part represents the whole or vice versa. In the same way, here the country is standing or it is representing the people of the country. Another figure of speech is apostrophe. The poet is addressing the Almighty here as his father. Metaphor. Heaven of freedom. Here the poet is indirectly comparing freedom to heaven. Now children, in the poem we have seen that most of the line begin with the word where. The repetition of the word where in the beginning of each line gives a musical touch to the poem, and so it has been used. If you see, there is no rhyming scheme in the poem. You see that there are no rhyming words in the poem, which means that there is no rhyming scheme, and therefore the poem is written in free verse. Here we have completed the explanation of the poem. Hope you like it. Thank you.